Welcome back. Our last guest is root cause and somatic therapist Nicole Healy. She will be talking about finding peace and safety for yourself when a loved one is experiencing addiction. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
Is it possible to find safety and peace for yourself when a loved one is experiencing addiction?
It can be, but firstly I want to speak into addiction. So addiction is any behaviour that we have a craving for, that when we participate in that behaviour we feel relief, and we will continue to do it even if it has heavy consequences on other areas of our life. It's also important to note that addiction does have a spectrum, so on the lower end of that scale will be things like scrolling on your phone, maybe using food to comfort yourself. On the higher end of the spectrum is things like alcohol, drugs, gambling and porn that obviously have a heavier impact on your life and usually do carry quite a stigma. Now, I realised with myself as I went through my own healing journey that I was using food for a lot of my life to soothe myself. It was my addiction. And that started when I was 4 years old and my father passed away in a car accident. And we had a lot of people come to support us, to give us love, and they brought food. And of course, it's always the yummy treat type of food. So I was trying to recreate that love and support throughout my life. Anytime that I felt like I was anxious or overwhelmed or went through something challenging, food became my source of support. So when you think about addiction like that, I hope it helps you to maybe give yourself some compassion for maybe your own behaviours, and to hopefully see your loved one as addiction not being something that is bad about them, but it's a coping mechanism. Now, when we think about loving someone in addiction, it is a long-term traumatic situation, and you will most likely be going through trauma, and this will affect you in ways you don't maybe realise, like your nervous system, the way your body responds. Now, addiction is like a roller coaster. And we think about our loved one and it's crisis, things are okay, maybe they drop low, like a roller coaster, and it continues over and over, and it really has no, I guess, formal way that it goes. We don't know what each day is going to bring, so we're holding on, bracing ourselves, and usually us loved ones jump on that roller coaster with them, trying to support them, trying to be there for them. So can you imagine what happens to our nervous system, to our body, when we're on that roller coaster, riding the highs and the lows, but we don't know when they're going to happen? Our nervous system goes into a survival response.
So how can this affect our nervous system?
So typically there are 4 different states the nervous system can respond in, which will be fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And we don't choose which one we go to. This is just our body trying to survive. It can sometimes refer back to how we responded, maybe like me in childhood, but we don't really know. So there's no shame around what comes up for you, how you are adapting or surviving, but understanding that those responses are exactly how they sound. So freeze, you might feel stuck. You might feel unable to make decisions. You might set goals and not be able to do them. Flight might literally be that you will avoid everything, run away from it, get me out of here. Fight, going to fight. And that could look like your loved one has maybe just gambled or done the thing that's the problem, and you will find yourself in combative mode. And then fawn, we really are like a fawn. We're cowering, we're sinking away, we're usually in silence. And these responses are literally survival. So understanding that, I hope you can see that it is your body's way, your nervous system's way of trying to protect you. It's nothing to be ashamed of. But what we can do is actually start to give the nervous system support. And that can come in the form of seeking a somatic therapist. It can come from doing beautiful things like calming the body with the breath, taking a gentle walk, not trying to force the body to be one way or another, but just accepting it. Okay, I'm in flight mode. This is okay. This is where I am. How can I support myself to navigate this? Because when we label it with shame, it quite often can make it feel heavier and it can keep us stuck. So compassion to self, once again, is always crucial when we're supporting ourselves. It could also be the phone rings at 2 a.m. and you can feel your body go into maybe a freeze response. Too scared to answer it because you don't know what you're going to hear at the other end. Almost like if you think of yourself being on that addiction roller coaster, you're holding on to that guardrail for dear life, bracing yourself for whatever is going to come next. And there is a lot of chaos when we love someone in addiction, we know that. So being kind to yourself, if you can't follow through on goals you set, if you can't communicate calmly sometimes because you feel yourself go into that fight mode and you're overwhelmed, we can shame ourselves for those responses, but when we understand them, that's when we can start to nurture ourselves and give them the space that they need to maybe allow you to show up in ways that you want. So the phone rings at 2 a.m. and maybe you go, it's okay, it's just a phone call, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. Your loved one does something that maybe initially you might feel a bit of anger or fear, you can calm yourself, think, okay, how do I want to respond to this rather than react? We can give ourselves some space and some kindness.
So what advice do you have for someone who is looking to find that sense of safety and sense of peace while also loving someone who's going through addiction?
I think the first thing is going, it's okay. I'm in survival mode. I have been through a lot of things. I'm trying to navigate things in a way that are helping me get through really challenging situation that we didn't choose to be in. And then looking outside of ourselves, seeking professional support, maybe looking into somatic support as another beautiful way to help yourself. And once again, always just being kind to you, giving yourself some grace and nurturing the parts of you that maybe need it the most, which is usually the parts that are screaming at us. Don't shame them. Try to give them some love.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Nicole.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you would like to learn more about finding safety and peace for yourself whilst loving someone who is experiencing addiction, or find out more about Nicole, you can visit her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au, and we'll say goodbye until next week.